480 feet above the ground inside this pyramid that is 4,500 years old. What was there that made researchers send a robotic camera inside just to see it? At one point, the robotic camera stopped because there was now a stone slab in front of it. The researchers believed that there must be some secret hidden behind this slab that has been buried for the past 4,500 years. They were determined to uncover this secret at any cost. So they attached a drill machine to the front of the robot, which made a fine hole in the stone slab. Now a camera was sent through this hole, and it saw a scene on the other side of the slab that no one had seen in the last 4,000 viewers. In Egypt, there are a total of 138 tall pyramids which have withstood dozens of earthquakes and many dangerous storms over thousands of years. But not a single one of them has budged even slightly. Among them, the tallest and largest pyramid is called the Great Pyramid of Giza, and the area of its base is 13 acres. That means, astonishingly, not one or two but a total of 9 football fields could easily fit inside this pyramid. According to one estimate, a total of 2.3 million large stones were used in this pyramid, many of which weighed as much as 50 tons each. If we try to estimate its total weight, the pyramid weighs 6 million tons, which is equal to the weight of 12 Burj Khalifas. But what was the real purpose behind building such tall and magnificent pyramids? Thousands of years ago, when humans didn't even have any tools, how were the walls of these pyramids leveled inch by inch? How were 50-ton stones cut into square shapes and without cranes lifted up to a height of 480 feet? And which engineers were involved in building these pyramids so that they were not only earthquake-proof but also set all their sides at exactly 51.5 degrees? You will learn all this in today's video. So let's begin with challenge number 1. For centuries, various research teams have been racking their brains to figure out the construction techniques of this pyramid, specifically how each side of the pyramid was set exactly to the north, south, east and west without a compass. Many experts believe that the architects of that time first searched for land that could bear the weight of millions of tons of stone. After that, using polar stars, that is, the stars that help determine the Earth's poles, they marked each side of the pyramid. No compass and no optical instruments. Just with this basic technique for thousands of years. 7 years ago, the director of this pyramid was appointed, and that too with 0 errors. Challenge number 2 was next. The next challenge was to level the ground. If the 13 acres of land on which this pyramid was to be built had even a slight unevenness, it would have been absolutely impossible for this mountain of 2.3 million stones to stand. Now, to level this land, the engineers of that time had neither a laser leveler nor a bubble level. Experts believe that pits were dug on all 4 sides of the construction site and filled with water. Then the water level on one side was matched with the water level on the other sides. Any part of the land that did not match the water level was cut and leveled using chisels and hammers. Many experts believe that the ancient Egyptians also used this simple tool, which had wooden pieces on both sides and a stone tied with a rope exactly in the center. If the stone touched the ground and its rope aligned perfectly with the center line, it meant that the ground in the middle was perfectly leveled. Challenge number 3. At the pyramid construction site, the directions had also been set, the markings were done, and the ground level was ready. Now it was time to start construction, which required massive stones weighing millions of tons. But they had neither grinders nor jackhammers to cut these stones. Yet, they still managed to cut stones weighing 50 tons and shape them into squares or rectangles. But how did they manage to do this? Yes, this was the only tool with which the stones were cut. Experts believe that the chisels used in the construction of the Peruvian structures were not made of copper alone, because they also knew that copper is soft and cannot cut stone. That's why a chemical, arsenic, was also added to it. These chisels, made from copper and arsenic, were struck against the stones using wooden hammers, and after many hours of hard work, large stones were brought into shape. Challenge number 4. Now, since this special type of stone, which is known today as limestone, was being quarried in the city of Tura, located 250 kilometers away from the pyramid construction site at Giza, now the problem was transporting the stone to Giza. Each stone weighed 50 tons, which is equal to the weight of 50,000 kilograms, or roughly the weight of 3 passenger buses. And about 2.3 million such stones were to be used in just one pyramid. To transport such a massive weight, neither any animal of that era could be of use. nor did they have trucks available. In fact, even if this task had to be done in today's modern era, initially this work was carried out with the help of workers and boats. Yes, the river between Tura and Giza was utilized, and large stones were loaded onto big boats and transported to the pyramid site. Experts believe that this task was not that easy. At least an army of 500 workers must have been deployed at the same time just for loading and unloading such massive stones onto and off the ships. Challenge number 5. The teams of experts researching the construction of the pyramid had now found answers to many of their questions, but one thing kept bothering them while the limestone had been cut, transported, and even started to be placed one on top of the other during construction. The problem was, how could the stones have possibly been transported to such great heights? Many experts believe that this was planned even before the construction of the pyramid began. Either the stones were taken up using a spiral track or by a zigzag method, but one thing is certain: stones weighing 50,000 kilograms were hauled up with the help of an army of laborers, pulling them up step by step. Challenge number 6 was not just about cutting limestone with chisels and hammers by hundreds of thousands of workers or transporting such massive stones. Inside this pyramid, compartments were built, along with passageways leading into them, and several small tunnels were also constructed. Everything else was fine, but one thing astonished the experts: the stone used in the inner compartments was not limestone but granite. Yes, granite is a type of stone that is considered the hardest in the world after diamond. Even in today's modern era, granite cannot be cut without the help of large grinders. Archaeological experts from all over the world were given tours of the pyramid, but none of them could figure out how, 4,500 years ago, the Egyptians managed to cut such a solid stone like granite with such precision. Eventually, after many years, experts solved this mystery as well. The Egyptians had cut granite so precisely using a saw that had no teeth at all. Yes, this toothless saw was weighted down on both sides and moved back and forth over the granite while gravel was placed in between. Experts believe that using this method, it would take 4 months to cut such a large stone. In the end, what was the purpose of building the pyramids? How many dedicated laborers worked tirelessly on building these massive pyramids at the same time? And when the advanced robotic camera meticulously drilled a small hole into the ancient stone slab inside the pyramid, what astonishing scene was revealed inside that had remained completely unseen for the past 4,500 years?